Yeah, man. As a breaker, the hardest thing I had to overcome was when breaking got played out in about 1985, 1986. There was nowhere to be seen. People were reminiscing when they would play breaks, but a lot of people weren't breaking to breaks anymore, especially when MCs were using it to rhyme over. And I would really find it odd. It's almost like surreal to hear breaks and nobody dancing the way I was used to people dancing to it. So from about 86 to about 90, there was no breaking going on. And I had to be in ciphers and break where people would spit in the cipher. They would throw ice and drinks on the floor. I got into a lot of fights. And I was wondering why I kept going, but something in me told me that what I was a part of was a great movement. And when you're part of a great movement, you have to go through great struggle in order to discover how great the movement really is. And I'm glad I stuck it out, because by the time 1990, 91 rolled around, was when I ran into a couple of Europeans that came over to look for me, because they heard of my name through other Europeans that I met in about 88, 87, 88. And then went back and gave them word that, yo, there's this dude that still breaks, and he writes in his black books and he dresses with mop necks, and they came to look for me, and his name was Niels, and everybody came to know this breaker as Storm. It's someone that I helped teach, and then I introduced him to the rest of the breakers that inspired me, like Incredible Breakers, Fresh Kids. But back to the original question, before I got to all of that treasure, I had to go through like 4 or 5 years of not seeing breaking at all. And I had to hold up the torch by myself. I felt like I was alone. There were people in different boroughs probably doing their thing, but I never ran into any of those people. But from my experience, the guys that really kept it alive were in the street. And that's where I found my new home and brought it full circle back to the concrete, because that's where I first originally learned it. And those are the only guys still dancing, like Doug, Wayne, and Poe. But by this time they had moved to Japan, and the breaks that I ran into was this guy named J-Day, part of a group called Breeze Team. And then I became part of another group called United Street Artists, and that's what helped me keep my breaking alive, the hitters in the street. And I became one of the hitters. And it was my greatest triumph to be able to hold up a flag for breakers worldwide.
I think at first when people come into the lifestyle, it is a hobby, because not many of us have the choice to make it a lifestyle at first. Some of us come into it very young. You know, we still live at home with our parents, and you know, we're not fending for ourselves at that point. I think when we become a little bit older and we make that choice, whether, you know, we take the route of a 9 to 5 and we just do it as a hobby, you know, or then some of us who just live the lifestyle and do it full time. As myself, you know, take on the whole thing as, you know, cultural and something I think a little bit more precious in some sort of way.
I see it getting crazier than it is today. I mean, it's never ending as long as people keep on pushing the envelope, becoming, you know, becoming more and more creative. And as long as there's music, there will always be dance. You know what I'm saying? So heads are gonna keep on creating new moves, and the actual art form is gonna keep on evolving, because you know, for it to be started in the mid-70s or so, you know, I don't know exactly what year it was started, but for hip-hop to be started in like the mid-70s or so, and for it to still be, you know, living strong, people are representing and spreading the love and the knowledge on a global note. It's never ending. It's gonna keep on going, and to many people like myself, this is all we have. So if you take away hip hop culture, honestly, there's no, life has no meaning at that point. You know what I'm saying? Because hip hop has allowed me to learn more about myself, my peoples, and I've met so many, you know, amazing friends, you know, and you know, all the art forms You know, I'm a DJ and MC and a B-boy, but focusing on the B-boy element, it's gonna keep on going. It's gonna keep on, you know, moving strong, and yeah, man, it's never gonna stop, ever, never ever. So get used to it. Word up. Peace, my brother.
I feel like there's a lot of things that we can do to improve the B-boy community, and like we should start off with like teaching each other, you know what I'm saying, helping each other out, and like the saying, each one teach one, you know, so pass on the knowledge and carry on tradition. You know, that right there will definitely do good, because the scene is really growing again. So we want the game to evolve, but we also can't forget our roots and where we come from and what started this and why we do it the way we do it. So on that note, you know, it's like, gotta keep it real. You know, a lot of things being like mixed into the game, and it's kind of like becoming real popular, and people forgetting about the foundation. And the foundation to me is most important. But you know, to each his own. That's not what you have to do, but you have to know it. Another thing that will improve the community is reaching out to people that are maybe don't know as much as you, or even people that you can learn from, or you know, get some good sources from. So it's good to network. That's another thing that can help improve the scene. And start throwing more events, more local events, you know, so the younger kids could stay involved and see what's going on. You know, a big event like this, you know, like a young teenager might not have the money to come out, you know, so try to like do more free jams, you know, jams, not contests too, you know, because it kind of takes away from the essence, the feel, you know. Everybody feels like they're put on blast or on the spot, and it's nerve-wracking when you start it. When I first started, I used to be shook to jump in a cypher or to enter a battle. So, you know, I think a jam will help people break out of that shell and be more loose, more funky, and just, you know, have that soul. You know, it's like a lot of people are starting to like become athletes and be real robotic with it and predictable. Like, what happened to the creativity and the flavor and the character and the soulful, you know, the funkiness? You can't just, you know, go out with a few air flares, head spins, and some flares and a few tricks and travel the world and think you're gonna impact. You're not, because anybody could do that. You know what I'm saying? But if you go out there with your own style and flavor, creativity, swag, you know, people see that, and you touch people, and it makes them want to go out and reach.
I think that in many different ways, we have in areas of the world, I think a lot of us are doing better than others. I think like you have like a patch here and a patch there and everywhere else where, you know, the scene is thriving or the energy changes to another place, you know. I mean, more detail, I would say, just we can become more united in a sense, like start producing our own leagues, you know, start producing our own administrations and unions, you know, things where, you know, we can actually benefit being paid and actually living off of what we do, you know. I think that because we're not as organized as a lot of other art forms, it's the reason why we're not as proven as much as we could, you know. I can tell you it's probably over 1 million or 2 million people in the world at this point, you know, or people who take or participate in this culture. If we just came together at some point or had a common focus as a whole, I think we could move forward as a unit.
You know, I keep myself surrounded in the b-boy scene. I live it, I breathe it. Every day there's some kind of struggle or something. I have to express myself in some way, shape, or form. I'm not an artist, I don't draw, you know, I'm not a trickster, I don't flip, I don't do anything, I just dance. And being able to get on the floor and express myself through that, I let out all my trials and tribulations. And everybody gets a sense of what I am and who I am. And through that motivates me to even do more, do better, try harder, go and try to learn something that I never had nothing to do. And as well as I learn these things, I apply how I learned it the drive to learn it, the education behind it to motivate me in all everyday life. There's a lot of things that everybody goes through on a daily purpose, you know, like just to survive. And for me, breaking helps me evolve my emotions mentally as well as physically in order for me to get there. And every day I'm really blessed to be able to dance and just show people my talent, my art, my craft, and that's the motivation itself for me. It's helped me in so many different ways, in so many different levels, that it would be an insult if I didn't give it its right respect. And in that shape or form, it motivates me in my whole well-being.
The most important thing I think a lot of the kids should know about the b-boy community is that that's just one part of like the hip-hop culture. And I think it's most important to learn before you start getting into the b-boy, community, that you understand hip-hop. And I said this because a lot of times, it's a lot of confusion as to why we even doing what we do, why we choose the moves we do, why we battle how we do. And a lot of people think it's an act, but it really represents I would say like the upbringing of like the hip hop culture, and why you want to get somebody in the car, or why you do a baby freeze, why that would be a freeze to do rather than something else. So I think if you look into the hip hop culture more and do your research, since right now hip hop culture is very hard for you to get an authentic version of it, you can do your research, do your history, look into ghetto lifestyle, like you will find out that a lot of things that work in the hood or in the ghettos also is conducive with hip-hop culture, and a lot of the hip-hop culture reflects, the ghetto and the street mentality, So touch that first, and then when you come to the b-boy thing, you'll be doing only about maybe 20% of what a lot of other guys are doing, because they're doing a lot of acting. It'll be natural for you. So strip it down, get into the hip-hop culture, get into the community, and then become, a b-boy, and then you'll be doing half as much work as everybody else is doing, because the hip-hop culture will be in. That's it.
Alright, well, basically, give back to the community, and that means a lot of things, okay? Me, I've been around, I started b-boying around like 2001, but I think just recently, I gained an understanding of what this whole culture is about. And basically, it's about giving back, because when I was a beginner, the way I learned is by going to jams and learning from the older heads and different people that inspire me. So I need to give that back and inspire others. By one, go to jams. By two, get myself out there, spreading my name, spreading my crew's name, representing my state. Showing people that you should be out there in the ciphers, also competing, and just showing love. Network, learn, ask questions, meet new people, travel, give back to the community. That's very important. And I think like a lot of b-boys lose sight of that. They just focus on one thing. And the culture in the community is not about one thing. It's about the kids, it's about the adults, it's about the family, it's about you. So don't sell yourself too short. Look at the bigger perspective is that you need to be relevant in all aspects. Giving back to the community, representing your crew, representing your state, representing you in a positive way.